Hey, what's going on, FSU fans? It's your guy, Kelvin Hunt. Built for Playmakers podcast / YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys doing well. I know it's been a little while for my YouTube audience. Life's been crazy. Have pumped out a couple of podcast audio versions for FSU baseball. Those guys have been doing well overall. Had a real nice bounce back win over the Florida Gators on Tuesday night. But this episode is going to be about FSU football, primarily the scrimmage coming up on Thursday. Going to give some thoughts on that and answer a couple questions from the community on the YouTube channel. But before we do that, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, the Cut app. With betting app, if you guys are looking to bet on anything sports, who's fast, you name it, Cut allows you to do that. It's a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's legal in 40 plus states. Cut has customizable odds, tracking capabilities, and an entire social network with group chats, user profiles, and rewards, all payments. No need for Venmo. So if you've never heard of this, guys, it's an excellent way to just bet with people in general, people you know, people you don't know. But, you know, a lot of times you may bet somebody on a game and you may get stiffed if you win the bet. You know, I see that on X, on social media quite a bit. This is an opportunity if you get both of you guys or women locked into a bet, you're guaranteed to get paid. All right. So you can bet on anything. So just check out the app there. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE FSU. That's BLEAV FSU. And you get 10% off your welcome bonus. Don't forget that promo code. Put your money where your mouth is. But yeah, you probably could have won a whole lot of money betting against a Florida Gator fan with that baseball game on Tuesday night. FSU was the betting favorite, which a lot of people were kind of, you know, raising eyebrow to because they had just gotten swept by Clemson. But, you know, Florida's been terrible in midweek games, and FSU had already beaten them once, and FSU beat that ass Tuesday night 14-3. But without further ado, we're going to talk about FSU football. So, again, apologize for the delays, but we look forward to having more consistency here on the channel. If you could like this video, man, the last few videos we haven't had a lot of likes, guys. I know I haven't been that consistent, but would appreciate the likes and sharing of the content to get us back on in the algorithm, so to speak, on YouTube. I really would appreciate that. Subscribe if you're a FSU fan. We put out good content here and look forward to the engagement. But yeah, FSU will scrimmage on Thursday. Usually these first scrimmages are a lot of situational drills, not drills, but situational instances, short yardage, goal line, third and long, just different in-game situations that these guys will face. And I'm interested in three groups mainly. You have a lot of talent returning at several different positions, but then you have some positions that you have a lot of new guys coming in, and it sounds like practice has been going well thus far. Mike Novell seems pleased. He hasn't really seemed, perturbed with anything. He did mention that the wide receivers and tight ends and running backs had quite a few drops at an earlier practice this week, but it sounds like they rebounded nicely in the next practice, which was good to see. But overall, he's mentioned that they've done a lot of installation and, back to fundamentals because they've thrown so much at a lot of these newcomers. You're talking about 26 newcomers, including freshmen and transfer portal players. It's a lot of new faces, but it's nothing new for FSU because they had something similar back in 2022. And if you've been, watched videos from the past, all the way back in January, I compared this team to the 2022 team. And, we talked about why this team was so much more advanced or more experienced or in a better position than the 2022 team. And I still believe that for sure. But going into this scrimmage, it's not going to be open to the media. So you're going to have to rely on what Coach Novell and the GAs and other coaches, whatever they want to share from that practice. They're going to share that with the media. And so that's kind of what you're going to have to rely on, unless you kind of get some guys that, sneak in there and, can get some eyes on things from a different perspective. But yeah, so we're going to have to rely on what people tell us as far as what happened at the scrimmage. But usually Mike Norvell is pretty candid when it comes to describing what takes place at practice. If they had a bad practice, he'll usually tell you. If they had a great practice, he'll usually tell you. But he's kind of got some giveaways in kind of his tone and different words that he uses. If he says, it was a good day, but we needed to see more consistency from this player or from this position group or whatever. That's usually a telltale sign that he wasn't absolutely pleased with what happened, and he wants to see improvement from that particular group. And a lot of times he'll mention guys in particular, and he's mentioned a couple of names thus far. Julian Armella has been one where, he's essentially said, hey, these guys got to take that next step. And I know we had someone to mention my guy on Tribal War 7079 from the community mentioning what are my thoughts on Vandravius Jacobs and Julian Armella. And it sounds like Vandravius has gotten his act together. It's not a question of talent for Vandravius. It's all about just, he's young last year, getting acclimated to college life. And, when you're maybe not as mature as you need to be, you don't understand the full context of things. You may not do everything at a certain level that you need to for coaches to trust you and put you in games. But it sounds like he, has kind of found his stride, so to speak, and is doing what he's supposed to do, and has made some nice plays at practice thus far. So really, that's the name of the game for him is, just being consistent, putting that work in, keeping his head on straight, and he's good enough to get on the field. It's just doing the little things. It's all about doing the little things. And so, it's a crowded group. We'll see what happens with the wide receiver position. We could see some older guys exit the program after the spring, especially if guys like Vandravius and Malik Benson and other guys kind of emerge. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Julian Armella sounds like they're going to slide him inside at guard and not play him at tackle, which makes sense because he probably has more of a guard build than a tackle build. And, as Coach Norvell has already said, it's time for Julian to really put up a shut up, so to speak, and find that consistency to get on the field this year. He's already had 2 years in the strength and conditioning program, redshirt season, and then last year. So it shouldn't take more than 2 years for someone that talented to get on the field. Same for Jalen Early, but it sounds like Early's made more progress. They kind of talk more glowingly, so to speak, regarding Early than Armella. So we'll see. FSU definitely needs all the help they can get on the offensive line. I expect the offensive line to be better this year than last year, provided they stay healthy. But yeah, it sounds like Armella needs to find that consistency so he can get on the field this year as well. So one group that I'm really interested in when it comes to the scrimmage is the linebacker unit. Obviously, that is probably the biggest question mark on the defense going into 2024. You got DJ Lundy returning, who played a lot of snaps last year. He's played a lot of snaps in general. So we talked about it. For him to come back from the portal after being committed to Colorado was big time, because if he had not done that, they literally would have no returning experience aside from Omar Graham. And he played some last year, but it sounds like he was hurt most of the year. So got Lundy returning. You got Sean Murphy from the Alabama transfer from the portal. So, and the linebacker position is not a position a unit that we've heard the coaches really talk a lot, post practice. It's not like after practices, Mike Norvell has just talked good or bad about the linebacker core. So, it's kind of, I guess it's not bad, because he hadn't said he's disappointed, but you kind of want those guys to take that next step also. Your hope is, you know what you got with Lundy. He's really good on against the run. he's better than people give him credit for against the pass. He's not, he's not Kalen DeLoach in space, but he's not just terrible either. But your hope is Sean Murphy, can emerge. He doesn't have much production at all, but he's crazy talented. Then you have your Josh Fryers, and I saw Cryer had an interception in practice earlier this week. Sounds like, he's a name that could come forward and challenge for Tom. Obviously, Blake Nicholson. I know a lot of people expected Blake Nicholson to play last year as a freshman. I never was in that camp. He wasn't an early enrollee. And even when you are an early enrollee, it's still difficult to get on the field as a linebacker. I mean, there's just so many things that go into it, especially when you're a player like Blake Nicholson and you didn't really play. You weren't really taught defense at his high school. Basically, he was an athlete, and it was one of those, go make a play defenses, right? So it's just where the ball is, you go. He didn't have to worry about trying to fill the right gap and all that good stuff. So, it's almost like he's learning from scratch, so to speak. And that's why he struggled quite a bit when he was on the field last year when it comes to defending the run and things like that. We know he can run. We know he can do things in space, but, it's all about defending the run, filling those gaps, shedding blocks and making a play. Then you have DeMarco Ward, who redshirted last year. So he's got an offseason under his belt. We'll see if he can do anything. So you got some guys there. You just don't know what you have outside of DJ Lundy. And then, like I said, Omar Graham was hurt most of the year last year, even though he played. And the coaches are really high on him. He's really smart. And though that can actually, even though he may not be the most gifted guy physically, having great instincts and being smart and knowing situational football, right, that can actually make up for some of his physical deficiencies, so to speak. So I'm looking for what the coaches say regarding the linebacker position. Also, I'm looking for what Mike Novell says regarding the wide receivers and tight ends. You got some proven guys, Ja'Kai Douglas. You got Kentron Portier, who again seems limited. He just can't stay healthy for whatever reason. You got Darian Williamson, who is just a history of injuries. All three of those guys just dealt with injuries all last year. And, it took Ja'Kai Douglas till halfway into the season to get on the field. Williamson never really got any consistency, and Portier, didn't really get on the field until late in the year. So then you have your newcomers, Malik Benson. You got, what's my guy, Jalen Brown from LSU. You got your guys from last year, Destin Hill, Hakeem Williams. We mentioned Jacobs already. So really, it's common for the receiving group to struggle when you're in a new system, when you have a new quarterback. Just knowing those little subtleties of how deep you go on a route, when you're going to come out of the route, how the ball is going to come out of the quarterback's hands, and things like all those little things can add up and affect the consistency. Just because those guys don't have the reps with one another, right? So they've only had 4 practices, and so you expect that to get better as they form more rapport and get better chemistry with one another. Also, at tight end, aside from Cal Morlock, you really don't have any production whatsoever coming back. So can Jackson West, kind of stand out? Then you have Brian Courtney, and then you have Jarrell Powers, who both signed in 2022 and have yet to really do much, on the field. Courtney's been on the field for special teams, and I think a couple of I think he made a play on one extra point play, a 2-point conversion or something one time. But then you have Landon Thomas, freshman early enrollee, former 5-star, all-world guy. The question is, how quickly can he assimilate into things and catch on to the offense? Can he make a difference this spring? And so I'm looking to see what names I hear from Coach Norvell and after practice. Do you hear Landon Thomas's name? Do you hear Jackson West? Or is it just Morlock? Or does Powers emerge? What names are we going to hear? Is, hey, guys that are taking that next step, guys that are finding that consistency that you need to get on the field. That's going to be big for FSU, just because, like I said, you just don't have a lot of production coming back from aside from Morlock. They need guys to step up in a blocking game. That is a weakness of Morlock's. He looks like he's gotten bigger in the offseason, so that's a positive. But not only do you need production in the passing game, you need these guys to be physical in the run game as well. So looking to see what we hear from those guys. And lastly, your team is going to go as the quarterback goes. We've seen that over the past few years with Jordan Travis emerging, before Jordan Travis, kind of matured and really begin that ascension, to the level that he ultimately reached. It was dark days for FSU, just because they didn't have good quarterback play. They had poor O-line play, didn't have any wide receivers. Obviously, DJ U was brought in to start from the transfer portal, got a lot of experience, a lot of leadership capabilities that'll be needed with this young team to help mold everybody and keep everybody together. Seen his share of adversity, knows how to handle that. So I'm curious to see, how he's assimilating to the offense. Does he look comfortable with what they're trying to do in different situations? It sounds like he's been fine. Sounds like he's thrown some really good balls, especially the deep ball. Everybody says that this looks effortless, just coming out of his hand, 65 yards, down the field. The question is for DJ: is he going to learn all the protections? Is he going to get them into the right play by looking at the defense? And we know he can read defenses. He's got a lot of starts under his belt and a lot of experience. But is he going to get into the right play in Mike Norvell's offense? Now, they do have the capability of talking to the quarterback from the sideline through the new comms they're going to have in the helmet. So that will be a positive for whomever is on at quarterback. But that's definitely going to help DJ with the new offense. Now, is he going to struggle in the offense? He played in an offense at Clemson. Actually, two different offensive coordinators at Clemson. Left Clemson, went to Oregon State under new offensive coordinator, learned that offense, played well, played better in that offense than he did at Clemson. So he's shown the propensity to pick up an offense and have success. And Mike Norvell and the coaching staff do a really good job of kind of molding their offense around the strengths and weaknesses of their current quarterback. We saw that with Jordan Travis. So I really don't have any worries about what DJ picking up the offense, what that looks like. But you do want to hear that things are looking crisp, and he's forming that rapport and the chemistry with the wide receivers and tight ends. That he's understanding what to do in certain situations, what protections to call, and things like that. So those are the three main things that I'm looking for coming out of the scrimmage on Thursday. And if I think you'll probably hear good things. Sounds like that's where things are trending. And so I really appreciate you guys having patience with me, man. Like I said, life is just crazy. Work has been crazy. And I really do want to get in here and do more content consistently. So again, if you haven't had a chance to like the video, man, just hit the little button for me. Hit that button for me. It won't cost you anything. This content is free. I think it's pretty spot on as far as where this team is, where this team's going. I look forward to seeing this team grow. And I think they're going to do big things in 2024. So probably we'll look to do some content after the scrimmage, depending on what we hear from the coaching staff. And we'll probably do some FSU baseball audio if you're an FSU baseball fan still listening. So again, appreciate you. Subscribe, And make sure you check out this video I'm going to post up here from some content I've done in the past. Until next time, go Noles.